Good morning, it's Friday, February 12th, and time for another Bowtie briefing. We started last week by talking about the March primaries, and we want to reemphasize those again with you this week. The first thing I want to talk to you about is the role that North Carolina gets to play this year in the presidential elections. And as I told you last week, we've moved the primaries up from May to March 15th. And the graphic that we're going to put up for you first today is a New York Times graphic from February 5th, and it shows the Republican primary and the votes weighted by state. But what's more important for us in the conversation we're having today is how we've moved up from being the 38th state to vote to being one of the top 28 states to vote. So we've moved up a full 46 days from May the 3rd to March the 15th, which means that the impact of your vote for a presidential candidate is much more significant. We play a much greater role in the selection of the nominees for the presidential election this year. In addition to that, we've heard a lot this week about the changing maps, the contests about the 1st District and the 12th District being ruled unconstitutional. Those challenges have gone up to the Supreme Court this week, and even though the maps may not be ruled to be proper, the likely outcome to that, even if they were to be ruled improper, is that the rest of the elections would go forward and we would do the congressional elections sometime later. So don't let that be a discouragement from making sure that you're registered to vote. Don't let that be a discouragement from showing up to vote on March the 15th. This is something that will be resolved. We'll figure it out, and once that's figured out, we'll give you recommendations on how to move forward on that and let you know the process and how that's going to go. I want to bring your attention today to two specific races here in North Carolina that are going to be coming up that deal with your peers running for elected office. Now, we've been very fortunate to have one doctor in the House already and a couple of other doctors running for State House and State Senate, but two in particular are physician members of the North Carolina Medical Society and facing tough primaries, so I want to bring those to your attention. Remember that any doctor in the House or the Senate, whether they are from your district or not, plays a vital role in representing your views and the views of your patients in the North Carolina General Assembly. Because there are so few doctors or PAs in the North Carolina General Assembly, they have a lot of influence. So it's important that we support these candidates, whether they're from your home county or whether you're all the way on the other side of the state. So the first one I would bring to your attention is North Carolina 36, Senate District 36. That's Cabarrus County and the very northern tip of Union County. This is Fletcher Hartzell's seat. Senator Hartzell is retiring, so it's become an open contest there. There's a Republican and a Democratic primary, but the Republican primary is where I would have you focus. That's where Dr. Scott Ameler is running this year. He's a retiring anesthesiologist from the area. He's been practicing for more than 30 years, former Army veteran. He's up against Paul Newton, who's a retired Duke executive, Parrish Moffitt, who's a pilot trainer, and Amy Blake, who's a teacher. Dr. Ameler is well qualified. He would be the only doctor that could potentially be elected to the North Carolina Senate Republican caucus this year. So we're excited to see his name thrown into the hat, and we wish him well in what will likely be a very tough Republican primary. It could even go to a runoff with 4 people running all at the same time. That district is more favored to a Republican than a Democrat, so it's likely that if Dr. Ameler is to get through this primary, that he would be elected in November to the General Assembly. So we're excited to tell you about that one. The second one that I would tell you about is House District 115. That's in Buncombe County. It covers a big path in Buncombe County all the way from the northern part around the eastern side of Buncombe County to the lower part of Buncombe County. So Alexander all the way to Black Mountain and then down into Fairview area. In this race, you have a Republican primary as well with Dr. Moretz, Dr. Frank Moretz running there. And Dr. Moretz is another anesthesiologist who is retired and is choosing to give back by running for elected office after retirement. Dr. Moretz has been involved in the medical society both locally and at the state level for a long time, and in the anesthesia society as well. So we look forward to supporting his campaign. And so I would just reiterate again for you that even if you don't live in these areas and can't get out to vote for them and can't encourage people to get out and vote for these doctors, you still have an opportunity to be able to support them from a distance. And it's important that you do that because they represent your views just because of their status as a doctor coming into the House or coming into the Senate. So look forward to bringing you more information like this over the next few weeks. We still have 31 days before Election Day, a full 15 days before early voting starts. So you've got time to get educated. Be sure to go back to the Board of Elections website if you didn't this past week, and make sure that you have your ballot so you know who you're voting for and can check people out ahead of time. And we look forward to talking to you again next week. Have a great one.